Clamping miter joints with bar clamps is a frustrating tug of war. The wrong amount of clamping pressure and the joint slips out of alignment, compromising the entire glue-up. The miter clamping tool from Woodpeckers solves this problem by directing clamping pressure straight across the miter joint, pulling the joint together, instead of forcing the 45-degree miters to slide against each other. Just clamp to each workpiece, then apply a third clamp across the joint using the V-sections in the clamping block. This ensures direct clamping pressure across the joint. Available in 2 versions, the MCT works with any stock width, from tiny quarter round to the largest picture frame moldings. Plus, softened ridges in the face won't mar your stock. Put together 1 corner at a time, or get the 8-pack and assemble all 4 corners at once. The miter clamping tool from Woodpeckers, precision made in the USA.
Installing trim around windows and doors is as easy as measure, mark, and install with the Milescraft Trim 45. To use the Trim 45, start by holding the button upwards to adjust the reveal gauge to your desired reveal around the door or window. The reveal gauge has a maximum reveal of 1/2 inch and can be adjusted for a shallow reveal in 1/8 inch increments. Once you've determined your reveal, push the button back down to lock in the desired setting. To install the trim for your project, start by aligning the reveal gauge to the jamb corner and make your horizontal and vertical marks using the edges of the reveal gauge scale. The front and back of the Trim 45 are used to make all marks or measurements for your jambs and trim casings. Then repeat this for all 4 corners. Then to measure for your project's trim, nail the Trim 45 in place using the 2 small holes just above the reveal gauge to insert nails. Then using the tape measure slots on the body of the Trim 45, measure the distance between your marks to determine the finished trim length. To help hold the tape measure in place, there's 2 magnets next to each of the tape measure slots. After you've measured the lengths of your trim pieces, set your miter saw for a 45-degree cut and cut one end of the trim casing. Then using that 45-degree end you just cut, use the built-in trim plate to clamp your 45-degree miter cut piece onto the trim plate with the backside of your trim piece facing up. Then clamp the Trim 45 to the backside of the trim using the trim plate to keep the Trim 45 in position. Then using the indicated tape measure slot, measure the finished trim length and mark it. Next, reset your reveal gauge to 0. Flip the Trim 45 over and make a 45-degree angle mark on the trim at the finish length using the 45-degree angle head. Your mark should start at the corner of the reveal gauge and follow the 45-degree angle. After marking the finished length, cut the trim along the angle mark, repeat the cutting action for the remaining trim pieces, and then install.
Want a workshop that's portable? Then get the new Rockwell BladeRunner X2, the go anywhere, cut anything, compact table saw. With breakthrough features like lightning-fast blade changes and mess-free cuts, BladeRunner's always ready to slice your work time. We came, we sawed, we conquered. The affordable workshop for everyone and everywhere. Get yours today.
Hi, I'm Vic Teslin. Recently, Veritas has come out with 3 new sets of bench hardware. the quick release tail vise, the inset vise, and the quick release front vise. All of these vices can be mounted on an existing bench or on a bench that's newly constructed. Let's take a closer look at the advantages of all three of these pieces. Here we have the quick release sliding tail vise. This vise is very smooth and doesn't bind when in use. Having a reliable quick release function on a tail vise makes clamping boards quick and easy. Next is the quick release front vise. It features an extruded aluminum screw cover which keeps debris away from the screw mechanism and prevents the workpiece from touching the lubricated main screw. You can choose to use the quick release function or back the vise off manually by reversing the vise handle. The inset vise is a vise that you can install directly into the top of almost any work surface. It has a fixed jaw, and you can purchase an optional pivoting jaw for clamping angled or curved parts. To use the inset vise, simply place the wood between a dog and the jaw and tighten the toggle to secure it to the bench.
The Craig inline clamp makes it easy to hold workpieces of all shapes and sizes without the clamp getting in the way. The inline clamp does this with a low-profile design that applies pressure from the side rather than from overhead, so the clamp stays out of the way as you work. The inline clamp stays in place with a peg that fits into any 3/4 inch diameter hole. That makes the clamp a perfect companion to the Craig Mobile Project Center and allows you to get more from any workbench that's equipped with 3/4 inch bench dog holes. Or you can drill 3/4 inch holes in any work surface to add the convenience of Craig inline clamping. Using the inline clamp is easy. Simply turn the contoured easy-to-grip dial to move the pushrod and press the clamp shoe against your workpiece. That makes it easy to dial in the clamping pressure you need, up to 250 pounds of clamping force. The low-profile clamp shoe is just 1/2 inch thick, so it stays out of the way while you work. The clamp shoe design holds tight against workpieces of all shapes and sizes, including corners and round edges. And because you can rotate the inline clamp, it's easy to direct that clamping pressure in whatever direction you need. With the Craig inline clamp, you get the helping hand you need, when you need it, with the versatility you want for a wide variety of tasks.
We all know that plywood and other sheet goods don't come close to their nominal dimensions these days. So solve the problem of making dados that fit properly by avoiding measuring altogether with the exact width dado jig. To get started, break in the replaceable PVC edge guides to precisely match your router, router bit, and guide bushing setup. From that point on, all you have to do is fit your stock tightly between the edge guides and clamp everything in place. When routing, the guide bushing follows the phenolic rail, while the router bit cuts exactly in line with the edge guides. Plus, it's easy to hide joinery with the adjustable stops at both ends of the jig, which stop your router short of the edge. The exact width dado jig features a handy offset scale that slides out of its track to set router depth of cut. Also included is a precision machined 1/2 inch diameter Porter cable style template guide bushing. But don't worry, if your router uses a different style guide bushing, it will still work perfectly. The jig is constructed with stainless steel clamping pads on each side, and one end forms a square to keep your dado perpendicular to your workpiece edge. Plus, the guide rails are solid phenolic, the same tough material we use in our top-of-the-line router tables, making this a bulletproof, lifetime tool that will keep your dados fitting perfectly for years, no matter what the plywood manufacturers do in the future. And like all tools from woodpeckers, the exact
Why do you invest time in taking care of your tools? The answer's simple. You want the best performance. So why aren't you giving your bandsaw the chance to make the best cut? The Guide Pro by Bow Products delivers firm control and consistent pressure in one easy-to-use tool, giving your bandsaw the elements needed to create consistent cuts. The Guide Pro's 6-inch silicone feather applies consistent vertical pressure along the leading edge of the workpiece. This ensures consistent contact between the saw's fence and the workpiece, resulting in a truly square cut. The flexible feather accommodates variations in shape and thickness, while the ergonomic handle helps you comfortably apply the desired pressure. For cuts on material taller than 6 inches, the Guide Pro's extension adds 4 inches of additional coverage. Combined, these features will offer a smoother, more consistent infeed, reducing vibrations and adding a completely hands-free experience. The Guide Pro setup is quick and easy. Insert the miter cam in the miter slot, turn clockwise, apply desired pressure, and press down on the locking lever. Once the Guide Pro is set, there's no need to reset the lock, which makes it easy to replicate cuts. The Guide Pro includes a detachable base that features a measuring and squaring tool, useful to square the fence table and accurately set the fence distance to the blade. If you use a bandsaw, the Guide Pro is the tool you've always wanted, a quick and easy setup that leads to safer and more precise cuts. Help your saw perform at its best, because pros like you use Guide Pro. Like you use Guide Pro.